Hi, everyone. I'm Amy Linder Lesser, your host for Introspection, and welcome back. I had something in mind to talk about today, and what happened was life. Life decided to come at me sort of in a different way. Welcome to Introspection, the podcast about moving from grief to growth. I'm Amy Linder Lesser, your host. Introspection started out as a podcast about hospitality, innkeeping, and innkeepers. After about a year, I realized that my life and interests have morphed from hospitality to helping others navigate from grief and loss to growth and living. In this new version of Introspection, I will be talking about my personal experiences with loss, and there are quite a few, what I've learned along the way through my professional training, as well as from my coaching experiences. I'll also be bringing in guests to share interesting ideas. So grab a beverage, find a comfy place, take a deep breath, and listen in. It started yesterday morning. I remember asking my late husband, Steve, to send me a sign that he was still around and thinking about me. And usually the sign that he sends is a deer. And sure enough, driving home after picking my dog up from daycare, we were driving down the road and I was driving below the speed limit because our road is curvy and there's always some wildlife somewhere along the road. And there were two cars right behind me who I knew were impatient. And I'm like, I'm not going any faster. I'm taking my time. And thankfully I did, because what happened? But a beautiful doe, a mama deer, came crossing right in front of my car with her fawn, a little one that couldn't have been more than a few weeks old. They were going from one side of the road to the other side of the road. And it was so beautiful. And I was so glad and I was grateful. And I said, thanks, Steve. I love the synchronicity. I love that sometimes I can ask for something from beyond and I get it. I shouldn't say sometimes. I always get what I've asked for. The thing is that sometimes it takes longer than other times. So that was a good part of life happening. And then I saw a groundhog in my backyard and a bunch of bunnies of different ages. I have a few really little ones that Hershey thinks would be either a playmate or a snack. So I have to keep them separate. Um, and that was yesterday. Today, well, no, last night, I got a call from a former guest from the inn. I haven't heard from her in about 3 years since I sold the inn. And she reported that her husband has dementia and is now in a memory unit at a local to them nursing home. And we talked for quite a while about the the hardship and how difficult it is to love somebody who doesn't always know what they're doing. They had gone away for a few days and stopped, I think, for gas, is what she said. And he drove away and left her in Maine. She had, thankfully, her purse and her phone and was able to call the police. And with technology, so this is something that everybody should be aware of. The police used the Where Is My app on an iPhone and was able to track, because her iPad was in the car with him. And so they were able to track the streets that he was crossing as he drove. And they finally found him 7 hours later back in Massachusetts. His car had run out of gas. My heart went out to her because dementia is one of not that anything is easy, um, but it's one of the most difficult because we're saying goodbye constantly. We say goodbye each day that we live with a person who loses their memory. We talked about the humorous things in the way that he said, we spend so much time together, we really enjoy each other. Why don't we take our relationship to the next level? That was very touching, even though at other times he doesn't know that they've been married. So I got off the phone, grateful that I had the time to speak with her, grateful that hopefully I was able to share some things that will make her life a little bit easier. And this morning I went about my business. I woke up and I'm dealing with a sick cat. So it means I've been sleeping on the couch because in the middle of the night she gets in pain and attacks me. So I woke up after not the best night of sleep, did some stuff that I've been working on, and started to look at Facebook, which is normal for me. And I saw when you look through memories, one of the memories, and I don't remember what year it was my best friend who posted on Facebook, just got home from visiting you in the Berkshires, back in Maryland where it's 90 plus degrees. Miss you, don't know when I'll get back there. And it brought back memories of the fact that I haven't seen her in just about 2 years since she passed. And if you remember, I don't remember exactly when, but a month or two ago, maybe longer, I talked about my friend Danetta, her analogy of grief. And if you notice, let's see if I can do this right. There are file drawers behind me. It's hard to do it when you're backwards. There's a file drawer behind me, actually two, that are open. And what she says is grief is like a file folder that you put the papers in, all the losses that you're dealing with. You put them into a folder, you take the folder, you put them in the drawer, you close the drawer. And they can sit there forever. Every once in a while, the file cabinet gets jarred, it gets bumped, and the file may pop up. Sometimes you can just push it down and not pay a lot of attention to it. Other times, like mine is looking, there are papers on top. It's because the file has been opened and there's no way for me to put it back without looking at those memories, looking at those losses again. The hope is that we can move forward in our lives when we're ready. We don't ever forget the grief, because the relationship, whether it was with a human being or an animal or even a thing like a job or a house, they held a lot of significance in our lives. And because of that, we don't get over it. We learn to live with it. We learn to live with those papers in the folder inside the drawer, and know that there are times, like for me today, that it gets stirred up and the papers come out. I had to talk to my accountant today about my mother's trust. Again, memories came up. The good thing is that I can now look back on her and on my best friend, and most of the time I can recall memories that make me smile. But sometimes the bittersweet ones come up, and we never know when that's going to happen. I posed a question, I guess it was at the end of last week, in one of the groups I'm in on Facebook. And I'm really curious. I want your opinion. I want to hear what you have to say. So please respond to this or send me an email or find me on Facebook. All of the links are in the comments. When do you know that you're ready to move forward? And I say forward because at some point we realize that we are still among the living. We want to do more with our lives. We want to experience more. We want to find more joy. We're tired and uncomfortable with merely surviving. Now, surviving is extremely important, um, but at some point, it's not enough. Surviving is doing the bare minimum. It's putting one foot in front of the other, getting done what has to be done. And if it doesn't have to be done, it doesn't get done. What is it for you or for somebody you know that tells them that they're ready or you're ready to move forward in your life? That you're ready to start bringing more joyful activities, more fun. And the responses I got from the Facebook group were very interesting. I would say that 9 out of 10 of them, or 90%, were all about dating again. And to me, moving forward is more than dating. Dating to me is maybe the least important. It's moving into a thriver's mindset as opposed to a survivor's mindset. A thriver's mindset means moving forward, finding joy, finding silver linings in things.
Life quakes or life transitions and the aftershocks that follow are something we all experience. A life quake can stem from the heartbreaking grief that arises from the loss of a loved one or the disorientation felt when life suddenly shifts due to the loss of a job, relationship, identity, or health challenge. Learning to navigate these transitions with mindfulness, grace, and self-compassion is the key to finding your way back to joy, happiness, and inner peace. Advanced Grief Recovery Method Specialist and Certified Life Transition Coach Amy Lindner Lesser, MSW, expertly supports clients to navigate their life quakes and transitions with warmth, kindness, and grace. Learning to accept support as you navigate your way through the aftershocks is one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself. Learn more at introspection.com. That's introspection.com.
Speaking of which, I just finished a book. It's called Actually I Can, and it's about her journey through breast cancer. Her name is Nika. I think it's Nika Stewart, and I will put that in the notes. She has a very similar belief in life that we need to find the things that lighten us up, that make us laugh, that are the silver linings, especially when we're going through something heavy, a loss. I would recommend reading it. It's definitely an easy read. I can tell you that I laughed, I cried, and a lot of the tears were happy emotional tears, and I do that a lot. I think I embarrassed a friend of mine this weekend when we went to see a movie and the tears were just coming down. And it wasn't a sad movie. It was really a very, very well done, good movie called If, and it's rated PG. A lot of adult topics. And just so you know, If it stands for imaginary friend. So it takes us back to our childhood when we believed in what we couldn't necessarily see. So in some ways, it's like me asking Steve for a sign. I believed that I would get it, and I got it. Signs can be anything. Some people think coins are signs. Some people say cardinals are signs. Signs are very individual and we interpret them differently. It could be the same thing. I see it as one thing and you see it as something else. Please let me know what you think about when it's time to move forward. I know that you may or may not know, but I know that I have become certified in Reiki. I've done level 1 and level 2 Reiki training. And Reiki, if you remember Yvette Lafleur on, who is an energy healer, and we talked about using Reiki, energy healing, to move some of the emotions, the heavy, stuck emotions in our bodies. And I'm really excited because I am going to be offering coaching, talk coaching with Reiki as part of the sessions. If you're interested, drop me a note, DM me on Facebook, and we can talk. The Reiki is wonderful, especially for somebody who has a little bit more difficulty finding words, that you don't have to do anything. You just sit, go about your business. I think it works best if you can sit or lay down, but if you can't, that's okay too. Distance Reiki works no matter what the recipient is doing and no matter where they are. And that's one of the best things about it. We are now in July. Summer is officially here. I'm hoping for those of us in the Northeast and anywhere else where there's been such an oppressive heat wave that we're done with the heat wave and we're just going to have some wonderful sun and time to spend with people who mean the most to us. Whether we're taking time to go through photographs of people who are no longer living, or we're talking on the phone, or doing a free Zoom call with family so that we can see them when they're far away, planning picnics and family reunions, other celebrations. I'm going to be traveling down to Virginia to celebrate my youngest grandchild's second birthday. She's going to have a pancake and PJ birthday party. So grandma has to go and buy PJs that are appropriate to be seen in public. I want you to remember that I'm here for you. You don't have to go through whatever life quake you're facing on your own. Reach out, give me a DM, ask for a call, and let's see if we can strategize working through your life quake. Have a wonderful July 4th if you're celebrating U.S. independence. And if you're not celebrating our Independence Day, have a great July 4th anyway. It's still a day on your calendar. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Love you. If you liked what you heard on this podcast and want to hear more, please follow us and tell your friends. You can also find me on Facebook at Amy Lindner Lesser, Grief to Growth Life Coaching, and on LinkedIn at Amy Lindner Lesser.